Let's get a look at the top stories from the business world. And for that, Yuka Royer from our business desk joins us from her home. Yuka, today we're starting with a historic agreement by G20 countries to provide debt relief to poorer countries through a common framework. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, it is a first. The G20 countries had already frozen debt repayment until next summer, but now they came together and for the first time agreed on a broader common framework to reduce or reschedule debt payments for poorer nations. The coronavirus crisis has really strained the world's poorest economies, and half of them are now at a serious risk of not being able to pay back their debt. Zimbabwe, for instance, is on the brink of defaulting on its foreign debt. There is an urgent need to reduce debt to help them focus more on the ongoing pandemic rather than paying back their debt. And under the deal, all public creditors to a particular country are required to take part in debt restructuring. And private banks are also urged to do the same, but they're not forced to do so. While outright cancellations of debt are not completely ruled out, they are strongly discouraged. G20 leaders are set to endorse this framework at their virtual summit next week, but critics already say that the deal does not go far enough.
So, what about China? Is China going to be obligated to take part in this?
It is indeed. Well, it is significant in that China has signed on to the deal because it is the biggest creditor among G20 countries. It accounted for 63% of total debt owed to G20 last year. But Beijing has been reluctant to acknowledge the need to reduce debt for poorer nations, and it is still unclear exactly how it will join the others in implementing those new measures. It has already come under criticism for defining the state-owned China Development Bank as a private institution to exclude it from the obligation.
Yuga, it's been a volatile week in the markets. Tell us, looking at the markets today, what's driving stocks?
Yeah, it's been a week of ups and downs with traders and investors sort of being swinging between fear and hope over the coronavirus pandemic. But today, on Friday, Wall Street gained ground, capping the week on a winning note ahead of President Trump's update on the coronavirus situation. All three main indices closed up over 1%, with the S&P finishing at a record high.
Yuka, over in the US, investors are gearing up for some big IPOs expected next month. And today, a food delivery service officially filed for its debut. Tell us more.
DoorDash. It's the biggest food delivery platform in the United States, and it has officially filed for an initial public offering. The startup is backed by Japan's SoftBank Group and hopes to raise $100 million and plans to list itself on the New York Stock Exchange. Food delivery, as you know, is one of the few bright spots in the COVID-19 crisis, with demand surging because of lockdowns. In its IPO filing, DoorDash reported $1.92 billion in revenue for the first 9 months of this year, more than tripling from the same period back in 2019. It also said that it has 18 million customers. The company reported a profit for the first time during the second quarter of this year. One analyst says that there are more favorable winds for the company.
Yuka Royer from our business desk with all the headlines you need to know in the business world. Thank you so much.